Welcome to the Starseed Legacy. And you might never know which starseed concepts are closest to the truth, but my intention today is to share with you which one comes closest to oneness, to the unity. And the times when I was observing what was happening outside, like in the spiritual community, not just on Instagram, but everywhere, when you just put like this word into our favorite friend Google, you will find again so much information, and it's very, very confusing because, well, I'm not gonna even dive into it because I was curious and I just Googled it and I was like, oh fuck no, that's too much, and everyone says something else, or it's not really clear what is it actually. Is it someone who's deep in tune, empathic, and sentimental, and or is it like this specific being who reincarnated here on Earth and they are presented like you are Jesus or you're Mary Magdalene? So it's like very like creating this abyss between us. So this is what I noticed, that all these theories, the same with Atlantis or Lemuria, that it creates like this kind of separation between us all, and we are actually, instead of connecting and coming closer to one another, coming closer to source and to oneness, we're actually developing this super epic spiritual ego, which leads to separation. So we are coming from with this attitude from you're an earth seed, you're an earth soul, and I'm a star seed. Like we are something better or not, and I'm coming from Pleiades, or I'm coming from this and this and this. So it's kind of like, okay, like I just like observe this huge separation and how our ego feeds on this. And this is not something healthy from my perspective. So, and the information which I received from the Akashic Records, so basically what we find about the Starseeds, obviously we can go into NASA and get some information about that. We are all made out of stardust to some certain way. Astrology has a huge impact on our lives, on the events. But basically, Starseeds information as we know it, like literally like as a star nation, are purely channelings from those who have access to the Akashic Records. So, and all of you know that I teach Akasha Soul, or with my team, we teach Akasha Soul. And this is a brand new modality, how to access, navigate, and clean the Akashic Records, and also connecting with the stars. So this is a very important aspect. And one of the most important tools is, of course, to prepare yourself to access this information truthfully and not pollute the transmission through your own ego. Again, ego is something great and beautiful, it protects us, but sometimes we are attached to too much to certain information. So the channelers who access the Akashic Records, they have their own filters. Yeah, so this is why I would always take everything with a grain of truth, but at the same time also like, okay, just filter it, because we know we are all human beings and this is another human being channeling something. So you can get inspired, but you can also confirm it for yourself, what feels good in your body, what feel, if you have the tools to access the Akashic Records, you can specifically go and enter and find this information for you. So, but what we find in the whole internet is basically through channelers, through seers, through psychics, information which they share about Andromedans, Syrians, if they are Earth seed or if they are star seed, whatever, and they put it in the web. So a lot of confusion comes up. So this is how the humans, how we access the source, the information about star seeds. So the Akashic Records is usually hold the energetic imprints, all the information of the intentions, thoughts, emotion, relationship, creations, from past, present, and future, all events, whichever occurred. So this counts for the Earth, but also, of course, for the whole galactic remembrance. So once we know, if it's kind of like once our awareness shifted that there's something more than just our earthly lives, like imagine you have this experience and you open yourself up for the concept of reincarnation, or at least this is how my journey started, that I didn't even thought about Starseeds. I didn't knew what it is, and I kind of felt excluded for a very long time. But I'm not a Starseed. Oh, you're an Earth angel. You're an Earth soul, and I was like, what the fuck is everyone talking about? So I connected with my Earth reincarnations, and later after my soul was ready, the truth unfolded, and especially for channeling Akasha soul, I recognize that literally everyone is a starseed. We just forgot with remembrance. We really like disconnected us, and we just focus on Earth, and this is fine because we are here to focus on Earth. We are humans, and only in this physical form we can manifest physical reality, our physical world. With this physical form also comes a lot of power and a lot of responsibility, and also we have the law of the free will, and all this really goes into a whole concept of how is this connection outside of Earth. Like here in the now, our souls are having this experience, but it's possible that in the parallel, like our soul has parallel experiences and in multiple timelines, and also in different worlds. Like let's say your soul can be reincarnated right now in Syrian, Arcturus, future and past timelines while you sit here in this room. So it's a very multi-dimensional concept, which thank goodness we have our 3D filters, we have our ego, and literally the responsibility of these filters is so we can focus on this current reincarnation, and we can have all the pleasure, fun, joy, manifestation, what we subscribe here to experience as souls. But it doesn't mean that you cannot access your starseed qualities or even work with a lot of different starseed qualities. Like literally all this library of different star systems are accessible to you. So if at some point you decide, oh, I want to work with Bellatrix, with Lyra, Vega, Cassiopeia energy, you can do it. To a certain aspect in your life, like if you're, for example, on a healing journey or you want to become pregnant, these specific qualities of stars will come to work with you. Or you invite them. So it's more like that you, from your free will, you have to be open to work with this starseed qualities, because the ascended masters and the galactic starseed federation, whatever their name is, they will never cross a boundary and interfere with our free will and with the evolution of our Earth. So even if they see right now where we are struggling and it's painful for them, they will never interfere unless we ask them to. You can ask as an individual, but if we are really like want to ask for a global event, the whole frequency of Earth, the whole frequency of a humankind has to elevate and basically ask for help. I hope it does make sense for you, because it's like a free will law, and they would never just change or interfere with the natural unfolding of Earth or the humanity. So long story short, we are all starseeds, so you know. So and I like to describe it like, okay, your soul, if we just meet on the timeline, before your soul came here on Earth and reincarnated here, it was literally traveling through multiple star systems, and it took a bazillion of years. And I also like in this parallel, but if I try to explain the parallel concept or the past, it's actually parallel timeline concept. We're gonna explode here with our brain, so I'm gonna stick to a linear time. Imagine before you came here on Earth, you were a star seed at the Pleiades. Before you were at the Pleiades, you connected with Lyra, and before in Vega, and we literally can travel back to the source, to the Big Bang. And if you really go into this, so even the universe had multiple life cycles, so we can literally travel and connect what was before the Big Bang, because there was also some life. So how to do is I go deeper in Akasha Soul, but we're going to focus right now on the Starseeds. And yeah, as we know, Lemuria was a project from the Pleiades. So the star nations from the Pleiades came here on Earth and started the project. And later, they started the Atlantean project. So the Lemurian and Atlantean civilizations were basically literally the first big empires connected straight to the Extracelestials. So, and the souls through reincarnations, because we all come from the same source, we have one source energy that started to unfold in multiple lights. So it's kind of like that the soul started to split up. So it became more souls. This is how we can explain, like, oh, but this amount of time, there was just like 1 million people on Earth. How come we are now 7 billions? So we evolved, and also until today, new starseed souls can arrive. So just for you to imagine that you decided at some point to make an experience here on Earth. You already brought a bunch of experience from the cosmos, from all your starseed qualities. And like, here are some people from Akasha Soul, so you already heard this story. Imagine how all these travels impacted you. If I just like take this lifetime as an example, I was born in Kazakhstan, so my parents are Russian. They took us back to Russia. With time, I came to Germany. The 20, I came to Berlin, which is not really Germany. They don't even speak German there, I have a feeling. And later, I started to go to Barcelona, to Bali, to Portugal. So I have Russian roots. I grew up to a certain point in Russia, but when I came to Europe and my life, my characteristica, my qualities have been shifting, have been changing. And to every place where I went in my life, I basically took some qualities from the best, hopefully, parts of these experiences. So I took the best from Bali, I took the best from Australia, and this shaped my character. This shaped my qualities. And now imagine that your soul has been traveling through the cosmos and making on each star constellation their specific imprint. And now you are here, maybe some watered down, maybe you don't remember so much, because I don't remember anything from when I was a baby in Kazakhstan. I hardly remember the stuff that I went through in Russia. But still, it's there. Yes, it can pop out, and I'm like, oh yeah, I remember there's something. Oh, in Russia we do this and this, and we have this traditions and ceremonies and so on. And these memories can unfold step by step when you connect with your starseed qualities. And your starseed legacy is to become aware that there's more than this human experience and this human form, what we are doing right now, and to connect with the qualities and also bring it and help other people to connect with it. And like go into this allyship with the star nations. And to ask them to help us step by step. We're gonna get more in tune with this. So the star ancestors and our star lineage is literally like here in this space. I feel it's very strong. The Pleiades, this is why they came there, and I was since weeks I was trying to connect, like, oh, is someone else joining? And it was still the Pleiades, and they have a specific frequency which is very, very feminine, and they're very motherly, like very divine feminine energy, matriarchic in a way. And when they started the Lemurian project, this was literally our mothers, the seven mothers, the seven sisters, who started basically this DNA modification. And then the star people came here. They had very high frequency bodies, so it was very light, less density of bodies, and they had difficulties to be here on Earth. So they started to create basically new bodies for themselves, so they can stay here longer, and they can. So I would like to say that they wished to surrender more deeply into the human experience and what it means to be a human. And yeah, at some point they also died and they decided to reincarnate. And their legacy is within us. Their legacy was in Lemuria, their legacy was in Atlantis, their legacy is in Egypt, and their legacy is still within us. So we are on this journey of unfolding this memory. Okay, so there's certain things what we can go through when we are working about the star seeds. So basically, like we are all star seeds. We just have this cosmic amnesia. We do not remember, because with every reincarnation, we walk through this contract of forgetfulness, that we forget where we came from. It starts from new. And if you don't forget, basically the first especially 7 years of your life are very important, and whether they will program you to forget, or if you are raised in a open-minded community, or like in a spiritual community, they will actually support your gifts and help you to remember again. So this is why the kids which are born specifically after 2012, they already have these newer access. Like they are, for them, it's easier to access this information of their past lives, unless they are deeply being conditioned not to. Like, for example, for my experience, life hit, and I decided to forget everything until like 21. So we are holding a specific energetic imprint of certain star nations, star codes, and versus basically having own soul memories from other star nations. So this is literally like the two different things that maybe we don't remember, or we have this galactic ancestry and we didn't have so many lifetimes or so many memories on certain star systems, and we carry the imprints of certain star qualities, like for example Syrian, Arcturian. For example, if you feel deeply drawn, I don't know why she comes in right now, but to goddess Isis, it's the Syrian energy. If you feel like super drawn to Egypt, it's Syrian energy. If you feel very drawn to the Christ consciousness, Jesus and Mary Magdalene, it will already have maybe the spark of the Pleiades. But it doesn't mean that it's there this or that. You can have both. It depends on which time quality you are right now, or difficulties, challenges in your life, or important missions for you. So energy imprints, because it's from your star ancestry, where you're coming from, or your own soul memories, where you literally remember your lives as incarnations on the Pleiades, on Lyra, Alpha Centauri, and so on. Because some of us might have as well merged imprints from both or multiple star nations. So it's kind of like they also had some fun and cross-pollinated each other at some point, and they came all together to a certain star and were hanging out there. So the consciousness has been shifting and evolving. So, but all of us, especially those in this space, carry the essence of a star being. I can imagine if you go out to your normal life and you connect with your parents, they will not understand what you're talking about, and this is okay. Try not to convince them, because it's going to be very challenging for your level of energy. But also them will carry a certain essence of a star being if they decide to open up for it. I can imagine that there's going to be like also a lot of resistance to it, and even like to drop this information in our spiritual community, like everyone is a starseed, might trigger a lot of people, because this is not what they share, which doesn't need to be wrong. But I just feel that it's disconnecting us from the same mission what we actually have here, because we all want to have happy lives full of enoughness. So, okay, does anyone have questions so far? Please let me know. No? Okay, let me tune in if I forgot something. Okay. So they asked to share about the Pleiades a little bit more. So the Pleiades are a constellation of 9 stars in the Taurus, and only 7 are visible. So it's like a cluster of the 7 sisters, and everywhere in the mythology, it doesn't matter if it's somewhere in Asia, in Greece, in Egypt, we will find in mythology the 7 mothers, the 7 sisters who started basically, who came from the stars and started the project. Like if you go especially to the Aborigines in Australia, they still carry on this knowledge, and they are very familiar with those who came through the stars and which who we cannot understand, like because they have these specific tones of languages, how they were communicating. So it's like we cannot pronounce these words. And the Pleiades are the record keepers of of the library, basically, of the library of light, of the Akashic Records, which is like our, yeah, we can access just the information through the morphic field here on Earth, or we can really access the information through the whole cosmos. It depends on your personal current consciousness level and awareness if it's going to be accessible for you. But for yourself, I mean, from your perspective, maybe for your clients, it might be challenging if you do it for the first time. But if you want to access this information for yourself, for example, like, did I had lifetimes on the Pleiades? Like, is there anything that I need to heal or unlock for myself? And for yourself, you can do it anytime. Sometimes it's also like we're kind of blind for our own flaws and we might need some help. So, okay. So it's a high frequency, it's a multidimensional frequency above the 5D. So it's a place of creativity, love, wisdom, universal love, and healing. So a place where our consciousness can expand and evolve. So this energy is important if we really want to heal our 3D connection to Earth, because we can understand that we can access a lot of information straight through Earth, like through the morphic field, and this is how for a lot of people it started, because already the Pleiades in Lemuria, they knew that it's going to be in the future, it's going to be easier for us to access the libraries through the network of the Earth than actually to develop or to train ourselves to connect with the 5D in order to access the Akashic memory, the library of light, or the universal mind. It's kind of all the same things, but there's a different evolution state and different access, basically the data of this evolution. And yeah, respect your free will law when you want to work with extracelestials, and always do it with intention for the collective benefit, like for the good of all and for the harm of none. And like be aware to let's say like this, for conscious use of these transmissions energies, healings, and to invite these spirits, because yeah, there might also be like some who are a little bit more controlling and not so pleasant experiences from the Extracelestials. So here's a no questions. Okay. So they give me the permission to explain you more about how can I say, the positive and the negative star nations. So I do not believe in this, say, like bad, evil stuff, but there's lower vibration, there's higher vibration. And we work with Syrian energy, the Pleiades, Andromeda, Lyra, we will mostly connect with positive beings in a higher vibration, like a 5D, 70, 80, whatever. It's more light and it has the like good intentions. There's for sure also Starseeds or Extracelestials who are still doing their experiences in the duality and experiencing themselves. So here in this point, also an invitation for you, if you had your past lives in this lower vibrating starseeds, star nations, also here important to clear karma, to really look at the perpetrator role, where in our past lives we actually did ill, and also release this, like taking ownership, taking responsibility for certain events, and ask for forgiveness, and to set these karma, to liberate it into the light. Because also Syrian people went through their stages of duality. Also, they went through war until they managed actually to ascend through it and to become a higher light civilization. For example, like the Hathors is a very high frequency light civilization. And if back in time, if you go back in the timeline, a lot of this now high ascended star seeds, star civilizations, they also went through lower experiences like war and yeah, basically like ripping the whole cosmos apart, more or less. Okay, is there anything else I can share? No. Something about the free will law is, for your current 3D reincarnation, is really important. Whatever happened to your, as a kind of like a, we are here to heal from PTSD, from all this post-traumatic stress disorder, which we experience in our past reincarnations here on Earth. So we have to heal this in our physical body. So everything what happened in a physical body on a 3D has to be healed in a 3D, unless like the first thing is like that your soul is choosing to heal and is ready to heal. And yeah, this starseed thing will unfold later. Okay, I think here's a question. About star nations, not really, but I can recommend a book about something similar. So yeah, I'm gonna recommend a book which kind of describes how planets were. It's like from a psychic who went to certain like stars and saw how it looked like, saw what was important on these planets and documented it. So I specifically work or recommend to work more with the qualities. For example, this is what we are doing in Akasha Soul. We are not diving deep on how they look, how they speak, and how does their planet look, but literally like into the frequency of that quality. So, and each star nation has a specific quality of code which we can connect with and to download with code. Everything we learn in Akasha Soul more deeper. And I personally prefer to work with the qualities of the stars instead of, oh, how do they look? It's not something that is important for me. Or, but you might be totally different and you are curious. So I'm just not so curious for myself. Okay. So I think we are good for today. Are you feeling good? Was there some new information for you? I mean, Isabel, for you not, because you already went like through a bazillion Akasha Soul groups. Isabel, do you want to share something with us about the star seeds and the star journey?
Hello. Do I want to share something?
Please don't write your emotional way for the next 2 weeks.
No. I was just having like a question in mind, which I was thinking about, and maybe I can share this. Maybe everybody can tune into this question because what for me is really interesting because I was listening to this book you recommended us, Activation of the DNA, and there she describes also the way that we come from source and we go down every dimension to downgrade ourselves basically to make a human experience in a 3D world. And then the question that pops up was like, okay, but why does my soul now want to go back? I was like,
to come back to source.
Yes, but I mean, I so wanted to have a Earth experience, and we don't know how long it will be. So yeah, it was something that I was just thinking about. Like, okay, maybe some souls just want to have like an Earth experience. They don't want to come back some earlier. It doesn't have
Well,
to do with stars. I just think about okay, it had nothing to do with starseeds. Sorry.
well, it is actually. Like, why is your soul just want to be here on Earth? Because in my experience, it's not just right now here on Earth. Like you with your filters, with your human filter, experiencing this here on Earth, but your soul is like a huge thing. It's like literally imagine your whole ocean of consciousness, and you just an aspect, a fractal of you is living right now in this experience, while in every other dimension of your light body, because we have very very much of light bodies, you are also connected to others. So it's like a parallel, it looks a little bit like this Kabbalah tree. Imagine all these little bubbles in the Kabbalah tree are having an experience somewhere else. Does it make sense?
Yeah, no, it's a nice thought.
So, and we are coming back to source after we give up our bones, but when we decide to come back to Earth, as an aspect, just a part of us wants to come back, because we are not totally like we're not 100% just here in this experience. Like our soul and our spirit is so huge that our conscious mind, like just trying to explain it, will make us explode, you know?
Yes. Yeah, I like the idea that we are like having a lot of bubbles and doing a lot of experience on different planets, stars, and planet Earth.
Yeah, and maybe in your next reincarnation, you will not be here on Earth. You will decide to go somewhere else. And somewhere else, you will have maybe the same problem. But it's actually like through my information, like what I received from the Akashic Records, there's not so many planets actually where you can have a 3D experience. Like the Earth is a very special planet because it gives us this opportunity to experience the 3D, and with the 3D comes actually like this whole vast emotional experience. Like in this higher dimensions where you come closer to spirit, to source energy, you are becoming more peace and love. So you can imagine that with extraterrestrials and these high ascended masters or these goddess energies, they some of them never had a human experience, so they don't know how it feels to love, how it feels to suffer, they don't know these things. So some of them might be like watching on us and be like, "Oh, these little humans, what are they doing?" But some of them, like Mary Magdalene, they had a human experience and they went through this. What does it mean to be a human? And they actually reincarnated here in a very shitty time. We all know what we did to Jesus. Um, and they went through it and they have compassion with us and also like adore us in a way because we have so many emotions. Like emotions are very powerful because probably nowhere else in the universe you experience such a facet of emotions like here on Earth. Because love for us is not just love. Up in the 7D, it's love, it's peace, it's light. Here we can have I love my job, it feels different. I love my cat, it feels different. I love my cat, but I also love my human baby. This feels different. It feels different to love my partner, but I also love my best friend. So it's love, but it has so many different facets of love. The same, it has this dislike, hate, disgust. So only here on Earth we can experience diese Bandbreite an Emotionen. And this is also something what we really can contribute to the cosmos, and we are not really aware of it. Like until that point that Lexi tells you, but we probably in our daily life we don't think about like, oh, what I'm struggling here through in my life, all this suffering or all this fun and joy, but it's actually something beautiful what we can contribute to the whole cosmos and the evolution of the universe, because it's also very important. So mic drop.
Thanks.
Isabel, what do you think about this?
I love the idea.
So yeah, and just from our human form right now, we can talk to the Andromedan and ask them like, hey, you're so good in psychic channelings and you're such a freedom bringer, help me, you know. Or we can call upon Archangel Michael and ask them, okay, help me with this and that, help me to transmute karma.